Today's tropical weather update is brought to you by State Insurance Company Limited. Live in a better state of mind. Thanks for joining us on this Friday morning. I'm meteorologist Leonard Josiah with a look at your now usual tropical weather update when we pay attention to what's going on in the tropics. It's the 18th day of July. Yeah, we'll be saying goodbye to the month of July very shortly, and we are going to be looking at the month of August when every single thing will begin to get ramped up. We're looking at the large expanse of our tropical area right now, and the tropical cyclone activity is not expected at least during the next 7 days. We're looking at the Gulf of Mexico, the Caribbean Sea, the Northern Atlantic. I'm going to be showing you a little bit more about the main development area. But for right now, you're looking at the Gulf of Mexico. Hardly anything for us to worry about there. You're looking at some patches of low-level clouds moving by over Cuba. Those are racing towards the west. A lone tropical wave right here. Take a look at Jamaica. You're looking at Cuba and the Hispaniola, the Caribbean Sea, void of any significant areas of cloud and tropical cyclone formation right now. The dryness of the atmosphere continues to wreak havoc, and it's keeping a lid on tropical cyclone formation. The United States and British Virgin Islands, we're looking at the Leeward Islands and islands further towards the south, the northern tropical Atlantic, all the way out there, nothing at all right there. Again, look at the Leeward Islands, but again, we pay closer attention to the main development area. Where is that area? We're looking at the Eastern Caribbean all the way out to Africa. You're looking at the coast of Africa right there. You're looking at the intertropical convergence zone and a lone tropical wave. It remains rather dry at this time, void of any significant cloudiness and thunderstorm activity and any tropical cyclones. So in the context of whether or not we are going to be struck with anything in the near future, we can rest our hearts at ease. The visible satellite imagery shows us a number of things that we did not necessarily see on the infrared imagery. And again, the haziness right there, the murkiness. And I'm going to be looking at the haziness closer to us, but in the context of your tropical cyclone formation area, it remains void of any significant cloud formation right now. Remains rather, or what we say, relatively stable. And because of that, the cloudiness is non-existent. But you're looking at some patches of low-level clouds. Take a look at this lone tropical wave. You're looking at the intertropical convergence zone right there, maybe another tropical wave just getting ready to emerge off the coast of Africa. Right down here, you're looking at the intertropical convergence zone closer to home. You're looking at Trinidad and Tobago. But it's the haziness that continues to wreak havoc, and with that, I'm going to be giving you a moisture view as to where the moisture zones are for right now. Remember that we want to see the brown areas. The brown areas are just indicative of what we call the deep layered moisture. Remember that clouds need the moisture for them to form. Tropical cyclones do need the moisture for them to form. Not that we're looking for tropical cyclones, but we really want to pay closer attention to the areas of moisture. And for right now, the blue areas is closely aligned to a high pressure system, and that high pressure system is capping the atmosphere. And take a look at that dry zone. That dry zone is funneling towards us in the Eastern Caribbean. We are noticing around the Leeward Islands that some moisture still remains present in the lower atmosphere, and with the moisture being present, yeah, we can still look out for a passing shower or two, especially when we add the wind to it as the lower levels become a little bit more turbulent. But the winds are abating just a bit, so the chances of showers will remain in its moderate context, that remain moderate zone. But this is the area that continues to really suppress the atmosphere. Now, closer to home, here is what we can show you as I spoke to you about this lone tropical wave. But if you take a look at that zone of dustiness right down here, we are on the, just called the gradient of it. Clearer skies to the north, dustier conditions to the south. And with the dusty conditions, yeah, we're looking at those individuals who have the allergies, etc., particularly along the southern area. You may want to pay closer attention to that. But for us in the Leeward Islands and the British Virgin Islands, the clarity of of the atmosphere means that you can breathe a little bit easier. However, the next shot that I will show you would go on into a little bit of deeper explanation what we'd like you to see. So we're looking at the air quality for today, Friday. That zone of haziness that I spoke to you about, take a look at the yellow, that yellow, and we are right on the zone right now. So this model is really capturing it pretty well. Just to north, the clarity of the atmosphere is right there, but this zone of yellow is really right over the southern Windward Islands, Trinidad and Tobago and Barbados. I wanted to hone in on to this because Friday, that's today. But let's take you into Saturday. Most of that dust has raced on towards the west, leaving us in a little bit more clear skies. And because of that, going on into tomorrow, we should see that the dusty conditions abate just a bit. But take a closer look at this particular area. Then we look at Sunday. We're looking at still good conditions around us in the context of your dust, haze, and your dry conditions. But this area is racing towards the west. By Monday, we are on the precipice right there of the dust, haze impacting us one more time before we go on into next week. So this particular area right here is the forecast that the dusty conditions, even though we go on into the weekend, and the dust is forecast to leave us just a bit, by Monday going on into Tuesday, the dust will return. Take a look at what the Tuesday's forecast is likely to be. Tuesday's forecast in the context of the dust, yeah, all of the Caribbean islands are now engulfed into the yellow, engulfed into the light to moderate haze, engulfed in an area where the air quality is likely to reduce. So you can pay attention to the Atlantic hurricane season, understanding that for right now, we are on the down low, but we are going to go into the month of August understanding that the activity will ramp up. If you're on the outside, remember to take a pic or two. Send it to us. Send that pic to abmsiwatch. We want to engage with you. Your eyes are our eyes. And we want to make sure that we pay closer attention to. So whatsoever you see on the outside, just share it with us. It may be very, very important for us to respond. Remember that we, the Met Office, we are located on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and on X. We are your friends, the Antigua and Barbuda Meteorological Services. If you're in Antigua, you can get most of your information on our hotline or via our website. Remember to continue to monitor with us, and you stay ready. As I always leave you, the weather will always change, but you have to respond to the weather. So you can say it with me. Remember to say it, weather your weather, in spite of the weather, whether you like it or not. I'm Leonard Josiah, not only wishing you a productive Friday, but a safe and restful weekend.
Today's tropical weather update has been brought to you by State Insurance Company Limited. Live in a better state of mind.